Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 10 out of Jake, and I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. I got another souped up interview for y'all. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Yo, I'm Jay Gutch out of Duval County. Got sent up the road on some bullshit. Really nothing to talk about. It was a grand theft burglary. My experience today that I want to talk about was going to JIT camp for the first time and not knowing what to expect. So I sat in Clay County Jail for a while, and it was different. Like, people were friendly, and it was that jail was nothing. Jail. You think jail is everything, and it's not. So I'm in there, for like a year. But, after about 8 months, I'm kind of in there. I'm like older head in there, just being in there. I got to a point where I tightened a couple people up, over cars, gambling. So I kind of got out of the gambling because I was told by people, going to the road, you don't want to gamble and all that stuff. Because I kind of already had an idea I was going to JIT camp. And then the closer it got to me getting sentenced, I was told more about what it was going to be like. When you get there, as soon as you get off bus, you're going to want to fight. I mean, they're cutting people out there, all that. It was definitely life-changing because, like, you didn't know what to expect. And that's definitely a fact. So
How old were you when you went to county?
I was 19.
19 at the time.
19,
And
18.
did you feel that, throughout, because I'm sure you're starting to hear all the stories that everyone hears about the JIT camps. Did the few times you fought in county give you any boost of confidence? Did you feel like, I can
Absolutely, because I had went to somebody who apparently was up the road, and I had ended up seeing him later on. He was a white boy. He was Aryan Nation, I guess that's what they called him. But
they got their own shit. I don't know.
Right, but white boy gang. So, like one day, we got into about cars because he had got me in gambling or whatever, and I had won my money back, and he felt some type of way because I wouldn't keep gambling. So, because I had got out of debt or whatever. So, boom, like he said some shit, and I said some shit, and then he tried to run up on me and like crash me on camera, and I just, I didn't say shit. So, like the next day, I did it like a G. I sat there at the card table. His name was Mike Hoffman. So, like, maybe he watches this and he would remember this and he could vouch for this. He was reading his book on his bunk. Everybody was asleep still. I was playing cards with people, and I just knew like this was still going to, come up again. So I went and tapped on his bunk, asked him if he still felt some type of way. He said, yeah. I said, I'm going to walk to the corner and you're going to tighten me up. And then, whatever you got to do in the meantime, I'll be there waiting on you. Boom, I'll go over there, situate. And then people are starting to kind of wake up and peep game. But most people don't know. So we were able to bump and not get caught. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, like, it definitely gave me a boost of energy for sure before I went up the road. And, I knew I was going to the road, so I was doing push-ups, I was doing pull-ups, we got doing sets of 50. So I was already physically ready to fight when I got in that bitch. So I get off the bus to Lake Butler, everybody knows about transitioning and getting stripped and all that. But when I actually get to where I'm going, like, YO, I get put in the back of the line. There's a Chico named Chopper. I guess he just got fired up, shit from Lancaster, X'd out. I don't know the real story behind it all. So he was like, what's up, Jay? Where you from? Da, da, da. He was like, oh. He was like, you know how to fight? And I was like, yeah, I know how to fight. He was like, all right, when we get back to the dorm, we're going to tighten up. I said, all right, so boom, I go to I dorm. Or is it, on the YO at Lake Butler? Is it I dorm?
Yeah, I block.
I go to I block, and I go to the top side, and they put me on the younger side. So that's where I guess they knew that's where I'm going because that's where I got in line. Because when I got put on there, as soon as I got on the pound, they put me in the line for dinner because they was in dinner already. They was eating dinner early, and I'd be like 3, 4, like, and you'd be starving till the morning.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I already knew it was time to fight. But I already expected it. I was ready to fight. I'm really hoping only fight and not have to deal with tools. So anyways, I go in there, and the officer lets me in. He tells me where I'm going to. My shit's open. I guess one of them was an orderly. So all 3 of them boys out, you know what I'm saying? They rush my shit. So they come in that bit. Chico and Chopper come in. He grabs me. I'm getting with him. I've been physically, ready for this shit. And they was all like more like my size. Everybody was my size. So it wasn't nothing to get with these boys. So Chopper, he grabbed me. And then another cutthroat came in. He was poking me in my leg. But at the time, I didn't know he was poking me. He hit me like 15 times. And then another white boy came in there named Cody. And he started wailing on me and shit. And I was just kind of getting with him. Like, they were trying to pin me down and hold me, but they couldn't. Like I was standing up the whole time. They were trying to get me on the ball, pushing them, and I'm trying to hit Cody and blah blah blah. blah. And they finally like fall back and like, oh, are you good? Da, da, da. Now that was all, nigga, I'm Puerto Rican. Da, 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 da. Just kind of saying shit because I already had in my mind. I was like, I was gonna get down with the Chicos, you know, when I got in that bit because people were telling me that was my best option. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't bang and shit. So that's how
Wait,
that went.
so they were hitting you with a fence poker?
Yeah, or something they got from the bed. But listen, I didn't even know. Like, and then I just kind of like after I got done, you know, I'm looking at my pants and I got blood a little bit, and I seen I got hit in my knee and my ass, and I didn't really feel it like pain for the next day.
The next
But
day, that's when it hurts.
but the adrenaline, you know, like they
Yeah.
didn't like, ever get me in a position where they could torture me, like, oh, you know, break it off and poke me in the feet. But there were bigger niggas in there that could have, but they ain't sent them on me because I was small time, you know. People, I feel like, you know, if a big person came in, all the big niggas gonna get it. If a smaller person came in, or they gonna put all the little hitters on somebody, you know. But it was like I got with the little hitters in that bit. And then the cutthroat came back to me and was like, hey, you know, just so you know, like I had went to sleep actually first and I was under my sheet, but they had already shut my door and shit and the shit passed and shit. And they told me I was good. But something told me I wasn't good. So like I just slept underneath my fucking blanket with my sheet and Blake Butler because I didn't know if these jits had access to pop the door and shit because they just run around and shit with everybody else in the room. So I didn't know if they was gonna be able to pop my room or not and just come in and tighten me up again. But later on, the cut they'll come through and he like tapped on my fucking cell was like, you know, just so you know, we gonna run that again or whatever. But this time, you know, we gonna fire you up and this and that and da da da. And oh yeah, and he was showing me the tools and the razors and shit. And I was just like, you know, it was whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Break shit off, da 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 da. So boom. You know, I'm just kind of in my top bunk and a week goes by and we don't really come out like that. I mean, you knew how I was in that bit. So Cody, the white boy who was in part of TOH and me in that bit, he asked whoever could come out for canteen and shit. So he let me come out and shit because I told him to come out. Shit, I got my shit or whatever and shit. Nobody ever fucked with me the rest of the time I really Butler, but I knew I had to go to Lancaster. So the next day after I got jumped and shit, and I don't know, I'm gonna get fired up. I get in line to go to my classification call or medical call out in the morning, and I ain't know nothing about where to go or how to do shit. And the officer gets on me like, "Hey, inmate, where you going?" Da, 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 da. And then he told me to get in front of me, and he knew I had the red hatter, so he's fucking me. He's like, "Oh, you trying to look hard and shit? What's your name? This and that." He said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of you later." So I go back to my room that night and go to sleep. In the middle of the night, my lights come on. Shit, boom. The fucking COs come in my room and they flip my room, and it's 5 or 6 of them. And then after that, they start asking me about me and what I made voice of. So what's up with the other day? You was looking hard at my officer, da da da. And before I can even say nothing, they just start jumping my ass in that bit. The officers beat my ass in that bitch just for nothing. Like they love doing it, and they would make people fight each other, and it was just it was awful in that bit. But after the officers with me that one time, they would see me. They would like say some shit about like getting fucked up by the officers, and they're like, "Ain't that right, Dutch?" or some shit like, because they already knew I'm like, "Shit, you ain't lying, Sarge," or something like that. Because I know the motherfuckers was gonna whoop some ass. So I was just. Anyways, I sat in that bit for like 3 months at Lake Butler. I didn't know what camp I was going to.
Being that, you know, at this point in time during your bid, you fought a couple times in the county. You were introduced to I Block at Lake Butler, which is, in my experience, one of the worst places I've ever been through, especially confinement at Lake Butler. I was cut inside of I Block. I was also beat by the COs at Butler. They stomped out my feet. I had 2 ingrown bloody nails. It was bad. And, you know, being that at this point in time, you've already fought, you've been jumped, you've been poked up, you've been beat by the COs, and you haven't even gotten out of reception yet.
Right. I'm not even settled in yet.
What is your mindset right now? How much worse do you think things are going to get once you actually do go to your main camp?
Way worse, because the niggas who flipped me, Chopper, just told me how bad it was at there. And, you know, he said I could send you over there with a kite saying I already flipped you. I'm a Thresse. But other people were saying he got X'd out. I don't know. So I chose not to take it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe if I would have, it would have helped more because I just happened to get ran down on by Thresse. So it was just crazy. But I didn't choose to take it. When I get to Lancaster, I get off the bus. and they're slapping us in the head. You know, it's everything that people have heard on your videos. Like it's the same for anybody goes through. So I was more scared of the officers at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you can't go nowhere. So like, it's just you fuck. Like you got to deal with that shit. But like Butler was straight because you was locked in your room. You know what I'm saying? You get back, lock yourself in your room. Shit. I mean, I ain't had no access to tools or none of that. Like I was never the one to hurt somebody, like cut somebody or anything like that. So I never had no money to do that. I was always hoping it could come down to hands, but I knew at some point it was not gonna be that. But anyways, I get to Lancaster and we get off the bus or whatever. Well, long story short, we all are just permanents in the dorm because normally people are in orientation and they go off to the pound. And eventually, after 2 weeks, that's when you actually hit the pound. But we never hit the pound. Whatever the orientation dorm was, that's what they made it. And then it was just once they started slowly moving everybody in. So they moved Raider, a Thresse in there, and then they moved Breezy, a King in there at some point. So all I remember is I don't remember everything in order, maybe how it went down. But I know Raider came in there and he flipped everybody. You know, it was just everyone I came in with was either black and then maybe one white boy, and I was like the only Chico. And other Chicos maybe who had already been there to send for something or whatever. That was in the dorm. And he flipped everybody in there. I came on the bus with, but when he came to me, he like finessed me and he basically put down on me. And I'm saying that now because at the time it didn't seem that way to me because he came to me and, you know, he told me he was like, where am I from and this and that. Like, what are you rocking with? Are you banging? I was like, nah, and this and that. Like, he just, you know, he told me that, you know, he thought it was good. He said, "Are you gonna be rock with us and this and that? You're gonna be 13 something," but it really wasn't nothing. It was just kind of a talk game where like he kind of got me to break it off or whatever. But I don't really know, like, remember from this day forward how exactly what was said, so I can't really word it right. But you know, the only reason I know I got put down on that situation is because when I was chilling with Raider one day in the room and Breezy came in, he got moved in the dorm. He was a king and everybody knew, you know, he had a big name on the pound, this and that. And then that's when he told me, he asked who I was and, you know, if I was rocking, da, da, da. And he said, nah, he's under us, da, da, da. And just kind of just was like, whatever, you know, it was nothing to be said. So it was just like that from that point I knew, but I didn't care. I just played my cards the way it was because all I cared was about is I didn't get cut, I didn't get touched, and such, you know. And out there was eating with me, Raider would eat with me, and this and that.
What was the difference between how Raider approached you versus how he was approaching all the other people that were in the dorm when he got put into the dorm? Like, how was he actually approaching them and what was he doing to them?
I don't know where the officer was, but I know the door was open. It was around like noon. It was on the weekend, so it was more like laid back. People were going outside of the basketball court and in and out. You know what I'm saying? People were going to canteen, but not from our dorm. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't want to. They were trying to keep it separated from everybody. But basically, everybody was just sitting there chilling. Da, da, da. He's like, all right, come on, Jit, tighten up, da, 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 calling everybody in that bit. Da, 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 da. And I just, you know, I kind of come out of my room and I sit on the bench or whatever, and I sit in the corner. And then and when he came to me, he said, hey, what's up, man? What are you, and da, 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 da. I said, what's your name, da, 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 and where am I from? You know what I'm saying? Because I do remember at one point, you know, I told him I wanted to rock with the Chicos, but he told me about a lot of shit, you know, I would have to go through and this and that. But, you know, at the time, I wasn't willing to go through it, and just it is what it was. You know, I was scared. I didn't really know. You know, I heard about people getting poked up and dying and shit like that. Like, so I didn't know really what came with the initiation. Did it come with me having to bleed and not knowing if I'm gonna live? You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of rolled with it. You know, like, I mean, I never had a fight, and I didn't have to. He never asked me, like, you know, it was never like, oh, well, you gonna have to, you know, he never put down on me. He just kind of like, all right, well, you gonna be this and this, and it was just like, and he treated me like a brother. Like he treated me like he did his own brothers. Like he taught me, he valued me. We worked out together. You know what I'm saying? We talked, we vibed. He showed me pictures of his family. Like he treated me like a brother. And then da 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 da. You know, then eventually one day some shit popped up with somebody in my room. I don't know what he was. Some black kid who got moved in there. But me and Raider were in there chilling in the 8-man room in M dorm, and we were just vibing. And Buddy said something, and Raider didn't like it. And all I know is I went to work that day, came back from working in the kitchen. Came back to the dorm, took a shower. By the time I got a shower, I see Breezy and Raider in the back. And shit, it looked like they were just I already knew, like I knew who only person was in there before I got in the shower. So I knew the words that were said earlier. I just don't remember the words, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's so long ago. But I go in there and I see Breezy and Raider, they finna fire him up with a lock. Like, ain't no blood in the room yet, but I literally go from turning around to put my stuff in the locker to by the time they run out and I go in my room, there's blood everywhere. You know, they grab mop buckets, trying to clean it up, there's just blood everywhere. It's just, shit was kind of scary. Like, I didn't know, it looked like they killed him because, like, he wasn't moving and shit.
Oh, he was still in the room just laying there?
Yeah, like right by the bunk on the wall, like, shit was just gushing. And it's life-changing because you don't really know, like, that's going to happen to you. Like,
yeah.
And I heard mostly, like, if you win the game, you more got a chance to get in touch because when shit pops off, you're a target.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So
I remember at one point in time at Lancaster, I was sitting with my brothers, and there was maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 of us, and I looked around, and every single one of us had either been cut, or all of us had been cut, but cut, fired up, poked up. There wasn't one of us that hadn't been hit up once or, a few times.
But
How did you feel when Breezy came in the room, asked who you were, and Raider said, "Oh, he's under us," and seeing how dominant of a force Raider and Breezy were, the second they came in, they start tightening people up, they start getting shit together, they start weeding people out, and then you see the violence. You see them fire somebody up, dude's gushing out of his head. At that point in time, did you feel safe knowing that you were under this group or that you were associated under Breezy and Raider specifically, just seeing how violent and well-known they already were?
yeah, absolutely. I absolutely felt safe because Raider treated me like, hey man, let me know if anybody fucks with you and shit. Like, conversations we had, not everyone was there for, so no one could really vouch on that except for him. But I don't really know what happened on some things with him. Like, after some things went down there, I never heard from him again. But, there was at one time, there was like a dude who was an Arnett, and they're like, right when Raider got moved in, and I fought him one-on-one, like, I was just chilling in my room, and he was talking to somebody in there, my bunkie or whatever. It was like another Chico, and I guess he knew him or something from home team or some shit. I don't really know. But he was like me. He was kind of like basically underrated too. The Arnett, he comes up to me and he's like, "What's up?" He's like, "What's up, Jid?" Or he said some shit as in like he was putting down to me, but he was doing it planned. So as soon as he started acting like that, I didn't even hesitate because at this time I was already in the ready and shit. So I kind of felt like, I kind of had people, if really anything, I didn't really know. So I was kind of testing the water on that. So I just backed up and I stole his ass and I went in on him and da-da-da. No one's in the room but that one other person. And he grabs me and like I go to sling him off the wall and boom. And he catches himself on the bed. Hell, bro, I was just playing da-da-da-da-da. And it was shocking me to hear that because he's telling me he's an Arnett and he's rocking and this and that. And his name was Ramsey. His last name was Ramsey. It was inmate Ramsey. That's all I knew. He ended up going to work camp. But then he comes back. He told me, he's like, I just don't tell nobody this shit happened. But Gigolo, he heard the shit. And I beat his ass, basically. I whooped him right there. But he comes back with this other dude they called Debo. I don't know what he ended up being. But shit, them boys come back and jump me. And it is what it was. And I told Raider about the shit. But, I just let the shit be dead. Like, I wasn't really looking to get back out of that. I just let it be dead. I wasn't looking to try to make something. And I think the vibe I got from Raider, it didn't really seem like, he was really, it was really anything anyways. I basically started some shit and then they finished it. Anyways, after they fired Buddy up, I go to Faith Base, So I kind of got lucky, really. I was fortunate because I was just somebody because when I got there, I still went into Faith Base because I heard people were still like, oh, you go over there, you still gonna tighten up and do this and that. So I go over there prepared to fight and everything, and then nobody's on any fighting shit, and it was safer to sleep there because at Lancaster it was open bed dorms. Like you got everybody sleeping in, and that's how it was. But it's like God was really looking after me because I happened to go that one time they made a permanent dorm rather than scattering everybody out on the pound. You know what I'm saying? That's when everybody gets like I know I would get really fucked up if I would have went on the pound. I know I would have got fucked up. It's just I would have got flipped if I would have went in a where it was just Bloods and Zoes or something like that because they would have. That's just how I was rock. That's how I was rocking in there. Like it was serious, and I knew that.